Okay, so this time what we're going to discuss about the classification of research report, no? So to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am John Del Mundo, and I'll be discussing the introduction, classification of research reports. So earlier, na-discuss naman na yung some of classification of research reports, pero let's go on a depth understanding of these classifications. So at the end of presentation, you will be able to first discuss the research based on purpose, method, and approach. Second is to define the classification of research, to differentiate basic research versus applied research, to explain the qualitative and quantitative research, and finally, you will be able to describe the mixed method research. Okay. As a researcher, it is beneficial for us na ma-determine or ma-classify natin ang isang research study under a specific category, because each category ay gumagamit ng different set of procedures. So there are 3 ways to classify research based on first, purpose. So meron tayong basic research and applied research. So under applied research, we have evaluation research, research and development, and action research. So research based on method, we have historical research, descriptive research, correlational research, and experimental research. So finally, we have research based on approach. So we have qualitative research and quantitative research. So i-drill down natin isa-isa para malaman natin kung ano ba yung definition and purpose nitong mga researches na to. So first is research based on purpose. So we have basics research, pure or fundamental research. So na-discuss na to kanina ni Liza and ni Doc. So pero it is the solution to the research problem, has no apparent application to any existing practical problem, but only of the scholarly interest of a community of a researcher. The research is called basic research. So meaning to say, ang basic research is the type of approach para magkaroon tayo ng better understanding ng isang subject, phenomenon, or basic law of nature. So ang basic research is primarily focus sa advancement ng kaalaman or to expand our knowledge rather than solving a specific problem. So typically, ang basic research, as mentioned earlier, it can be exploratory. So meaning to say, pwedeng mag-explore pa or mag-investigate ng hindi pa nakikreate na study or hindi pa ganun ka-develop na study. It can also be descriptive, so meaning to say it answer the question yung how, what, when, and where. Pero hindi under descriptive, hindi natin nasasagot yung question na why. So dito papasok exploratory. So a basic research can be exploratory which answer the question why. So one of the example ng basic research in education, so di ba ang basic research ay ginagamit natin sa education para ma-develop yung mga theories that can explain teaching and learning behaviors sa isang classroom. For example, how do teaching methods affect students' concentration in class? So in this topic, di ba, we determine kung paano ba nakaka-apekto yung teaching methods sa concentration ng mga estudyante sa isang klase. So under basic research, hindi pa tayo nag-provide ng solution. Rather, inaalam pa lang natin kung ano yung meron sa topic na to. So for us to have advanced knowledge or for us to expand our knowledge sa isang topic na to. So again, in basic research, hindi pa tayo nag-provide ng solution. Other example is in psychology, di ba, ang basic research, ginagawa nila para makatulong sa mga individuals and organization para magkaroon tayo ng insights and better understanding sa iba't ibang condition. So it allows yung mga psychology to understand yung certain behaviors but without providing solution pa under basic research. So again, the primary aim ng basic research is to gather information in order to improve one's understanding, and this information can then be useful in proffering solution to a problem. So next, applied research. So applied research, it variously known as action research, operations research, social research, decision link research. It is a type of research that covers a wide range of social science areas. So when we say applied research naman, it seeks to solve a specific problem or provide innovative solution to issues affecting like individual, group, or society. So kung kanina, gusto lang natin maintindihan yung certain topic, but here in applied research, we are seeking for solution na. So dito na papasok yung applied research. So we have three types of applied research. So first is evaluation research. So it analyzes existing information about a research subject to arrive at objective research outcomes or reach informed decision. So in evaluation research, best example nito is, for example, is nasa isang company and we want to improve yung organization's hiring process. So under evaluation research, meron na tayong existing information. So may existing process na tayo and we have existing hiring process. So under evaluation research, magkakaroon tayo ng assessment on how we will improve or provide solution para mas maging quality and efficient and effective yung hiring process natin. So next, research and development. It focuses on developing new products and services based on the needs of target market. So in marketing, 'di ba, as a provider of needs as a provider of goods and services, we provide solutions sa needs and wants ng mga tao. So kaya we come up sa mga goods and services. And yung needs and wants ng mga tao is nag-change over time. It could be nag-increase or nagbabago depende sa preferences. And yung research and development, we use this para makasabay sa trend or sa pagbago ng needs and wants ng mga tao. So in research and development, we provide solution para makasabay tayo sa mga trends and changes in society. Last is action research. So it provides practical solution to specific business problems by pointing the business in the right direction. So best example nito is yung applied research to bridge skill gaps in the workplace. So ang problem natin is merong gap between say skills ng mga employee. So in applied research, we will provide solution kung paano natin mabibridge yung gap na yon. So we do action research. So the recommendation could be training, seminars, etc., etc. So these are the three types of applied research. So to differentiate yung applied research and basic research, the applied research is a research methodology that creates practical solutions for specific problems, while basic research is an approach to research that seeks to expand knowledge in a field of study. So again, pag sinabi natin basic research, ang gusto lang natin is magkaroon ng better understanding or expand ang knowledge natin sa specific topic without providing solution pa. While applied research, dito nagka-come up ng practical solution for specific problems. Okay. Now, next is research based on method. First is historical research. So it is that which utilizes historical sources like documents, remains, etc., etc., to study events or ideas of the past, including the philosophy of the persons and group at any remote point in time. Sorry, nawala po ba?
Yes, sir.
And again, sorry, historical research, it is that which utilize historical sources like documents, remain, etc. to study events or ideas of the past, including the philosophy of persons and group at any remote point of time. So, ang historical research, the sole purpose is to make people aware of the events that have happened in the past, di ba? To learn from the failures and success, and to apply in the current period or in this contemporary setting. So it also aims to arrive at conclusion concerning trends, causes, or effects of past occurrence. So ang historical research, ginagamit din siya to predict yung future. So ginagawang basis ang history. So someone says na ang history is like chismis daw, di ba? And actually somehow it is correct. Bakit? Because not all history came from primary sources. So when we say primary sources, this is they are directly involved or witness the events that have happened in the past. But we also have secondary sources. So ang secondary sources, they can also it could be narinig lang nila or na kwento sa kanila or na chismis sa kanila. So ibig sabihin hindi lang ibig sabihin ang chismis is somehow they become history. Bakit? Because it was supported by factual evidences. So in historical research, ginagawa natin tong research na to prove yung authenticity or yung correct ng chismis or yung secondary sources na sinasabi nila. So example din dito sa historical research is yung evolution of teacher training programs since the turn of the century. So mini-measure natin dito yung training programs throughout the year from 10 years ago. Next naman is descriptive research. So it includes case studies, surveys, and fact findings inquiries of different kinds. So the major purpose of descriptive research is description of the state of affairs as it exists at present. So as I have said earlier, ang descriptive research, it answers the question what, when, where, and how, but not why questions. So ang goal ng descriptive research is to accurately and systematically describe a population, situation, or phenomenon. So usually ginagamit ang descriptive research kapag ang goal natin is to identify characteristics, frequency, trends, and categories. And sobrang useful ng descriptive research kapag hindi pa natin gaano kaalam yung topic. Kasi before tayo gumawa ng research, kailangan malaman muna natin kung ano ba yung research, paano ba to nangyari, or kailan to nag-exist. For example, yung do customers of company X prepare products X or product Y. So before tayo magbigay ng Y, 'di ba? Ialamin muna natin kung ano ba yung gusto ng customers of company X. Is it products X or product Y? Next is correlational research. So the most likely type of research to answer the relationship among variables or events is called correlational research. So in correlational research, we investigate relationship between variables without the researcher controlling or manipulating any of them. So ang example nga nito is meron tayong tinatawag na positive correlation. Both variables change in the same direction. So example, as height increases, weight also increases. So they are in the same direction. Next is negative correlation. The variables change in opposite direction. So as coffee consumption increases, tiredness decreases. And last is zero correlation. There is no relationship between the variables. So example is consumption is not correlated with height. So in correlation research, hindi natin minamanipulate or ginagalaw yung two variables. Next is experimental research. So experimental research is a scientific approach to research where one or more independent variables are manipulated and applied to one or more dependent variables to measure their effect on the latter. So ang experimental research naman is ginagamit natin to investigate the interaction between independent and dependent variables which can be used to determine a cause and effect relationship. So sa experimental research, ang minamanipulate naman natin or kinokontrol natin is yung independent variable. Okay. So i-differentiate natin yung correlational research versus experimental research. So for the purpose, ang correlational is used to test strength on associate between variables, while yung experimental research naman is used to test cause and effect relationship between variables. And in variables, in correlation research, variables are only observed with no manipulation or intervention by researcher. And for experimental research naman, an independent variable is manipulated and a dependent variable is observed. Next, research based on approach. So we have quantitative research and qualitative research. So often used in understanding the magnitude of a phenomenon testing hypothesis about the relationship between variables and making prediction about human behavior. In this type of research, the focus is on the extent and measurement of a phenomenon. So when we say quantitative research, ito yung proseso of collecting, analyzing the numerical data. So it can be used para makahanap ng pattern and averages and to make prediction. So we can also test causal relationship and generalized results to wider population. So yung quantitative naman is the opposite of qualitative. So ano naman yung qualitative? Qualitative often used in exploring new ideas or explaining concepts in greater depth. Here, research questions focus on understanding the phenomenon, person, community, or reality in its natural and everyday state. You are more concerned about the depth of the understanding rather than the breadth of the reality's magnitude. So ang qualitative research naman is yung process of naturalistic inquiry that seeks an in-depth understanding of social phenomena with their natural setting. So in qualitative, it focuses sa tanong na why rather than the what of social phenomena. And it relies on the direct experiences of human being as meaning-making agents in their everyday lives. So ano naman ang tawag kapag pinagsama natin yung quantitative and qualitative research? So we have mixed method research. So in here, both quantitative and qualitative approaches are used to study a phenomenon, issue, or problem. By using both, you are able to show the magnitude of the results and an in-depth analysis of what could be driving the results. So example of this is, first, to what extent does the frequency of traffic accidents, so yung frequency are the quantitative, reflect cyclist perception of road safety. So it's qualitative naman. And then the second is, how do student perception of their school environment, so that's qualitative, relate to differences in test scores. So quantitative. So ang qualitative is yung perception, and then yung quantitative is yung test scores. And then third is, how do interviews about job satisfaction at company X, so qualitative, help explain year-over-year sales performance and other KPIs. So ang qualitative natin dito is yung job satisfaction, then yung quantitative is yung sales performance and yung other KPIs. And then the fourth is, how can voter and non-voter beliefs about democracy, qualitative, help explain election turnout patterns. So, and last is, how do average hospital salary measurements over time help to explain and nurse testimonials about job satisfaction. So, yan yung mga example na mixed method research. So, that's conclude my presentation. Thank you po.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir. Again, as our presenter mentioned, no, so there are certain criteria, no, especially if we're going to use, let's say, experimental, no, and any other types of research. So it is important for us to understand, no, why should research data be classified, no, because researcher must securely protect research data when the data elements pose a risk exposing the identity of the research participants, no, and the researchers also must meet the school requirements, no, and policies, no. So in classification of research, no, we need to understand the impact. Let's say it is high impact, no, moderate, and low, no. So for us to start, of course, we need to start by identifying the purpose and nature of the research and the data to be classified. Then we need to identify the specific data elements, no? Identify any laws, no, regulations, or data usage agreement that govern the data. No, we need to estimate the number of sensitive records restored, no? Understand what notification requirements may exist in the event of breach and potential impact of those requirements. And we could able to estimate the impact of research project and that is data loss at the same time. Okay, so I think that's it for this topic. Thank you very much, sir.